Okay, we're recording. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Welcome to the Astalty weekly webinar. Today we have Paul Bryan to do a presentation on leveling up your team. So Paul is a business coach and consultant working to help businesses that help people. He coaches through one-on-one, hybrid, and group programs with tools, community, and help for providers. Alrighty, Paul, if you'd like to take it away from here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Ken and ChatGPT for that awesome introduction. And hey, guys, really good to have you here. I've had a chance to work with a lot of providers all over Australia, both in our programs we run and also in some live workshops and at conferences. And it's given me the ability to get a really wide range of what people are doing in all different states, in all different size businesses, in all different types of service offerings. And we've compiled a lot of the things that are working and built a few processes out that providers can sort of use in order to be able to help them with their staff, whether they be administration or whether they be support workers. Because we've found, and this is a metric that we've seen repeated time and time again, is the more you input into your staff, the healthier your business grows and the more stable your business grows. So we've actually had clients of mine who have been working with where we've actually taken a marketing budget, stopped that entirely and put it into staff development and making things simple for them. And then that has actually grown the business more than marketing had. So it's a great thing to keep in mind, because no matter how we're looking after our team, there are always things that we can do to continue to improve. And today I'd love to walk you through just a few of those things that we do on a regular basis. This is not going to be your regular PowerPoint presentation. If anybody sees the videos that I do, I like to draw on the screen. And so that's what we're literally going to do today and sort of work out some of these things. What I'm going to do is at the end of each sort of section, I'm going to just open up if there's any questions or input you guys have, or you've seen that work, or you think it's a good idea, or you've got your own thing. I'd love to hear from you as we go through it as well, if that's cool. So as I said, my name is Paul. This is our level up your team process we use. Really quickly, we've got a heap of free content available. As you see on my links page, which is available on that QR code, we have got a whole heap of stuff that you can actually get a hold of. We've got some free resources available. You can actually get the Level Up Your Team workbook. You can download there on that link as well. All those sorts of bits and pieces are available. We've got our summit coming up and also our Profitable Provider podcast. Myself and Tanya Gomez, we started that early last year. We're up to about 45 episodes now. And a lot of providers use that as a fantastic resource for just helping to know what's happening in the industry, to be able to check things off. So lots of things available. So this is what most people think about when they think about, how do I market my business? And we talked about how do we attract, for instance, clients. We talk about defining your niche. But one of the really powerful things is really understanding how you attract support workers, because when you are finding support workers for your team and administration staff, having them on your team and having them interested in what you do, because I imagine a lot of you guys have got staff who are probably casual and quite possibly have their own independent support worker role somewhere, or they work for several different providers at several different times. It can be difficult to have them actually invested in your business. So what we actually really need to do is know what is our attract method for support workers and administration staff. And that really does come down to understanding our niche, to really know who we help inside the NDIS. Because saying NDIS participants is just, that's a very broad stroke. All right. So who inside the NDIS do we help, and how do we help them? What do we help them do? And why do we do it? When you can really clearly identify these things, this allows you to have a very clear value proposition for staff coming on board. Now, has the added benefit of you being able to connect and provide amazing services for your clients. But when you are marrying that with the support workers you bring on board, that makes life a lot easier, because now you're not trying to find any support worker. You're trying to find support workers who are really invested in the who that you work with. They're invested in the what you do. They're invested in why you do it and how you actually make this all work. All right. So if we've got an idea of the type of people we want to work with, we can really develop that niche. And again, that has a two-sided approach, right? So that is helping us find clients, but also helping us connect with staff that are invested in helping those clients. If we've got, a support worker who, is really into, mental health, they've got training in mental health, they have got experience in mental health, and that's what they're really passionate about. That's what they've dived into. But we're asking them to work with someone who needs physical support. Wow, let's try that again. Physical support, then they're not actually going to be working in the zone that they really want to be working in. When we have people doing admin, but they're support workers, and they're maybe the best support worker you've got, but they may not actually be the best admin person you've got. And so that creates a bit of a disjoint as well, and so creates a lot of problems. I can't tell you how many times I'm talking with providers who have promoted a support worker to an administration role, whether it be rostering or something like that, and it's actually gone completely pear-shaped because they just don't have that particular skill set. They may be the best and you want to reward them for the great work, but it is a different skill set, and knowing that and knowing those people is going to be really key. So when we're looking at our niche, who we work with and how we help them, I'd love to know, does anybody here have a clear niche or a clear market that you work with specifically? And you can feel free to yell out or say nothing at all. I don't mind.
So for us, we're primarily adventure therapy with young males.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So that gives you a really clear idea, and the people that you're going to be bringing on as support workers are hopefully going to be invested in that, right?
Yeah. So the passion for always has to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That gives you so much more ability to find the right support workers who are now going to be a lot more committed to what you do, because you have a really clear value proposition that you're putting to them. All right. They're invested in the type of clients that you're working with. They're invested in the outcomes that they're getting. And this thing starts to become less of a job and more of a passion, right? That creates an amazing thing called culture, right? And when we can really work on the culture in our business, that develops a fantastic staying power for your support workers and your administration team, because they're all working towards that one goal. And we like to call that thing the North Star, right? Where are we heading? What are we doing? And how are we helping the industry? We're actually having a really clear passion for that. Awesome. So there's a couple of key points here, guys. And one of the things we really want to do is attract staff with the same intensity as we want to attract clients. Everyone goes, how do I find clients? How do I find clients? I need to go connect with support coordinators, and I need to go to networking meetings to find clients. Are we putting the same intensity into finding staff? All right. Is that a process that we have that isn't just, hopefully I'll put some stuff out on Facebook and someone will join us? With what intensity are we finding staff? Because people say there's a staff shortage. I'll be honest, there's not. There's just a lot of businesses with no work currently. So there's a lot of support workers out there that are working at about 10 to 20% capacity. And it's because some of them have started their own businesses. Some of them are working businesses where they haven't got a lot of help. But we actually need to be able to attract the right people into our business. Hiree is a tool. It's not available in all states yet. I believe it's in Melbourne, WA, and I think Queensland. But basically, they've built Hiree.au in order to literally just help the disability industry to find support workers. And so you can go on and view profiles of support workers, make an offer. You can put up a job in those sort of things. So it's kind of like Seek, but specifically for NDIS. And so they're doing a great job rolling that out throughout Australia. And just on that QR code, we have got some resources available to you just around finding your niche and really helping you understand that. And if you don't have a clear niche, this is the process that we use. We want to know the demographics. Okay, we want to know age, location, gender, ability, all that sort of stuff, the physical things about them. And then the psychographics, not psychopathics, psychographics. This is more the emotional connection that people have to what you do. All right. And then how you help is really important. And Russell, like you were talking before about, you know, doing those adventure camps and that sort of thing. That really creates that niche where, you know, this is exactly what we do and how we help. Awesome. So I'd love to know any questions about creating that niche so that you can stand out to your ideal support workers, staff, or anything like that. That's all right. I'm okay with silence. Too easy, guys. Hey, I'll jump on to the next one. We want to be able to keep our support workers and our team. And that means that you need to be an A-grade employer, sorry. All right. And a lot of the time we do focus so much on our clients, making sure they're happy, getting what they needed, which is really important. But again, we need to have this two-pronged approach is how do we actually look after our support workers? All right. So there are 4 key things that actually have proven to have people become more invested in the culture of your business, invested in the outcome of your business, and invested in how you're helping people. All right. And so a couple of those things really quickly are, number one is recognition. You know what? It's amazing how much people don't actually think that, hey, good job, or really appreciate that extra bit of work you did makes a difference in someone's life and day. There is the saying, people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. Okay. And actually just having a plan in place to go, I'm going to actually recognize my support staff or my administration team on a regular basis is actually going to develop a connection with you and your business in a really clear way. Now, every time I say this example, I get a lot of flack. All right. And so this is really me being very open and vulnerable to you guys, but it highlights a point, because sometimes we can just get way too busy in our day to actually think I should stop and just send this person a message and say, thanks so much for the work you did. Or, you know, give one of my team a call, not for the sake of checking in, but just saying, hey, you know what? Thanks so much for doing those notes, getting those things sorted out, sorting out that roster problem, whatever it is. So a few years ago, about 10 years ago, I had another business as well, and it was a trade-based business, and I worked a lot, and I was often out of the house. I had this whole thing of I'm doing it for my family, but I wasn't. I was not there a lot, right? So what I did was I realized that wasn't connecting with my wife a lot, and so I put in my calendar, and this is where I get a lot of flack. I put in my calendar, text my wife, I love her. Okay. I literally put that in a calendar as a reminder, randomly through, not on like a repeating, like every Thursday at 8 a.m. It was randomly throughout my calendar. So I just remembered to do it, or give her a call, or check in, or something like that. Because it was just this thing of course I do. But you can't, you know, say I love you at the wedding day and then, well, nothing's changed, right? I'll let you know if anything's changed. No, this is actually a process of continuous improvement. So that recognition goes so far and is often underrated by employers. Next one is rank. And this one has like a bit of a two-edged sword, because some people look at it and go, yeah, but with rank comes pay. It's actually not often, to be honest. Sometimes just a little bit of responsibility makes people a lot more involved in what's actually happening. And that's where we start to see things like, for instance, whether it might be support, like, junior support workers are our entry level, just started. They haven't got a lot of experience in what we're doing. We have our, our team support workers. We have our lead support workers, team leaders, house managers, all these sorts of things, area managers, helping people understand that there is actually a career progression inside your company. All right. One of the things that we see with casuals, and obviously most of the workforce here is casual, there is zero career progression, right? Zero progression. And yes, I could have been a doctor with my handwriting, but I'm not. But there's zero progression for them to actually look at what is going in, and then understanding that we're going in a direction inside this business. So is there a path for me to follow to become leveled up inside of this space? Or will I be a casual support worker forever? What does that look like? Right. But you also then have the ability to be able to develop culture through this career progression as well. All right. So rank is a great thing to actually have inside of your business, not for the sake of, just making sure that everything's tucked in line, which is great. You know what's happening and who's responsible for what, but just showing people that there is a progression that people can work on. Next one, reward. All right. Reward. Look, simply having the ability to have a where it might be a mid-year party or a Christmas party, or support worker of the month, or these sort of things. People often say, oh, it doesn't really matter, but when they actually are in that place of receiving some sort of reward, they go, oh, I actually feel really good about that. Okay. I've got some guys who actually give out movie tickets like every month. It's like movie tickets, or dinner on the business, or something like that, or even just going and say, hey, I'd love to take you out for lunch. Like, thank you so much for all you do. I'd like to even have a chat with you and find out more about where you'd like to be. But reward is a massive bonus to be able to actually move into that. And then we have the good old $10 word, remuneration, which is just really simply pay. All right. We know that margins inside the NDIS are really tight. And so we want to know that, you're actually keeping employees not with money as the first thing, because I was chatting with a provider literally yesterday who, in order to keep staff, had just kept bumping up pay. And now they have about 10 staff that literally cost them money to have. All right. And so for the support work that they're doing, they got into a position where they had to keep staff. They had to keep these people rolling through. But now, like, some of their team actually cost them $1 an hour to have, when they take into account superannuation and all those sorts of things. So a lot of this other stuff can go a long way towards buffering that, because there is only so far you can move on understanding what you're able to pay your team, right? So being an A-grade employer is really, really key. We have the ability to, again, develop that culture inside of our business, right? I'd love to know from anyone here, and if you guys have anything that you do specifically to develop culture inside your business. If you're happy to let people know the ins and outs of what you might do, that's just, what do you guys do to develop culture inside your business? Awesome. Everyone's also doing rosters at the same time. And hopefully you're all using Astalty to do it, or not, your all your notes and all that sort of stuff, right? Awesome. All right. So a couple of key things, right? We've got what we call our toolbox meeting process. All right. And this is really simply on a fortnightly or monthly basis. We actually want to have a 20-minute check-in with as many of our staff as possible. It might be over Teams or Google Meet or Zoom if you're a legend like me, because I clearly had a lot of problems with Google Meet this morning. I'm not as tech savvy as people think I am. But just jumping on and actually having a 20-minute check-in with the whole of team. We've got a process, which I'm going to give you at the end here, that we use for these in order to just make sure you're actually hitting a few targets and creating connection inside of your team. All right. So key point here, guys, is culture grows itself given the right conditions. All right. I've got plants in my backyard that I have managed to kill without touching them. And I've got other plants that have grown without me doing a single thing to them. I have definitely lent into those plants that require very little help because I'm not a green thumb whatsoever. But given the right conditions, those plants are growing, and culture does exactly that. Given the right conditions, your team will actually develop a culture, but the culture always comes from the top down. So if you're not leading it, it's not going to go in the direction you want. Okay. You can end up with a wrong culture if you're not doing it. Contact check-ins, they are remembered, right? The contact, the recognition, all those sort of things, that makes people feel that they belong into what you're doing. And so that can really be as simple as using a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group or your team's meetings, right? But actually outside of that, just going, I'm going to give this person a call today and just check in, see how they're going. And the last one here, which you can grab off our code there, is our toolbox meeting process. And I'll walk you through this really quickly. This is literally a 20-minute or 30-minute at most Zoom meeting, which some people do fortnightly, some people do it monthly. And the idea here is actually just to develop a bit of a groundswell around what you're doing inside your business. And so we've got, really quickly, welcome and thanks. Hey, great to have you here. Well, that's a really massive. Let's try that again. Let's go with pink today. There we go. That's good. Welcome and thanks. Sorry, I may have just dropped my pen. All right. So welcome and thanks. Hey, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Here's the current news of what's going on. We're going to the expo next week. And so, if you want to come and join us at the expo, please come along. Or maybe we've got, new support workers starting. Welcome along. It's fantastic to have you here. Important next news. So then level it up a little bit. Hey, audit's coming up, guys. Just be ready for that. You might get contacted. This is what's happening over the next little while. So stuff that they know, you are trusting them with the information that's coming up. Staff feedback and ideas. Hey guys, just want to check in. How's it going in the houses there? Is there anything you guys need or any feedback on things that are working or aren't working that we could use? And you want to obviously be taking notes, seeing what your staff actually think about what's going on and what they see as the areas you could work in. Publicly thank one person. Hey Jenny, thank you so much for sorting out those roster issues. It was great. And everybody else, if your roster is working great, it's because of Jenny. She was amazing. Thank you so much. All right. This, I'll be honest, creates a little bit of FOMO among your team because they don't want to miss out on being in there and possibly getting a bit of praise publicly in front of people. Short 5-minute training. That might be, hey guys, just a reminder, here's how we do our shift notes. We're just going to check in. Here's how you do it. This is where you do it at the end of your shift. Takes you 5 minutes if you just follow this quick process. Or it might be, hey, you know what? We're going to be doing some training around peg feeding in the next little while. Here's the quick rundown on just to make sure you guys have got what you need. All right. Then thanks for coming. Final reminders, guys. Just remember we have got audit coming up. That's going to be on the cards. You guys are going to get contacted about that. And our next meeting will be in 2 weeks' time. I'll send you out an invite for it. All right. Last thing we do is we snap a photo literally of the screen. We pop that up into our communication platform, and we just give people that couldn't make it the dot points. An example of what we did here with this process is we used with a provider here in Perth, James, had about 26 support workers all working remotely. They didn't have any houses, so everyone pretty much worked individually. And when he first ran this, he had 5 people turn up. So 5 people came up to the meeting, took about 20 minutes. He posted the stuff up in their WhatsApp group. And then, if you missed out this week, please come along next week, as we'd love to be able to, get everybody on the same page. The next week, he had 8 people come along. After running this fortnightly for 3 months, he was regularly having 18 to 20 of his 26 support workers coming along. Then he, for instance, he'd ask things like, hey, we need some more support workers for shifts here. If you need some more shifts, let us know, because we've got some more clients coming on. But if you know anybody else who has specific training, we're looking for an EN, could you ask your network and see who'd be interested in coming along? People, when they feel engaged, are happy to recommend the job to other friends, because, to be honest, nurses know other nurses, support workers know other support workers, right? And they're probably going to be connecting with people that are like that on a regular basis. And then you're never going to get 100% usually, because people have shifts, they might have other jobs, and that's okay. But we start to develop this groundswell. So great little process to actually walk your team through there. Again, 20 minutes once a fortnight or once a month is going to make a massive difference. Does anybody currently use like an all-in team meeting at the moment? Awesome. There's a template to go for it. All right. All right, let's jump on to the next one. Train your team. We want to level up your team. And this is a bit of an outline that we've had from a lot of providers, and the different levels of support staff and administration staff we've seen inside businesses. So I'll run through this really quickly. We've got the crowd. All right. Crowd are awesome. These guys are here for a job. They're uni students who are filling in time. They're casuals. They fill rosters, and they make sure that your team aren't without your clients aren't without support work, but they're probably not the people that you're relying on a lot. All right. Then we have our team. All right. These people they're on team. They turn up, they do their shift, they don't complain, they are helpful, they do their stuff. But again, they are just there, right? They are that group of support workers or admin team that are just doing their job. All right. What we want to get to is this point where we have what we call sidekicks. This is Robin to Batman. People that are invested in the outcome of this business. People that always get their shift notes in on time, always update their rosters with the right information. People that always are looking to see what they can do to make things better. Maybe they give feedback when you have your toolbox meeting. These are the people that actually do give feedback. Hey, it'd be great if we could actually maybe do an outing, like Tom, our client, has been thinking about doing some bits and pieces, and then somebody else says, oh yeah, like Jeff's been thinking about doing some stuff like that as well. Could we do a program? These are the people who are a bit proactive inside your business. All right. Then we have rock stars. These are the people that help the show run. They might be team leaders. They might be people that are that extra level invested. They get their stuff done. They come in early. They finish when they're supposed to finish, and not like half an hour beforehand because they're just running off. These people, if you had to step out of your business for a little while, you know that it's okay because they're there. They have the culture. All right. These are the people who are actually your culture crew. All right. You want to invest into these people. You want to spend a little bit extra time with these people, because these are the people that are actually going to spread that information down to the places that you can't actually go to. All right. And then we've got our 1%ers. And our 1%ers is that one or two people inside your organization that when you go on holiday, you should be able to go on holiday. If you haven't, let's chat. When you go on holiday, this is who's running the show while you're away. All right. That one person that you trust to know, you know what, when I go away, I know that they will handle issues that come up. And if they can't, they'll contact me, but only with the stuff that actually needs to happen. Right. So this is our 1%ers. So what we really need to do is just have a process where we can actually know that we're leveling up people into these different areas. That toolbox meeting is a great way to see if we can find who's above this level here. Oh, there we go. Who are our sidekicks, rock stars, and our 1%ers? When we start to be able to measure these things, we know who we can invest more time in and get more results from. We know who we're going to prioritize the shifts for. It's not just an in your head thing, but this is actually something that you have, a document on going, all right, I know that I can work with these people. These people They're great to have, but they're probably not worth investing too much time in because they do appear just to be here for the job. But I want to make sure we're doing something with them. That's where we really come into those group activities that we can do. All right. So you don't have to tell me names, and if you've got the camera on, awesome, nod or whatever. But could we think about our team and go, do I know someone in each one of those levels at the moment? Right. Yeah. So when we look at our team, we probably go, oh, I think Jeff's a rock star. Jenny's a rock star. We've got Tom's probably one of my sidekicks. And maybe we've got a bundling crowd at the moment. Well, great. How do we get them to be team? Right. So we want to actually be in communication. We want to have that culture flowing from top down so that we can really help the people that we're working with to be able to do the things that they want to do and get the help that they want to get. All right. So thinking about that, I'd love you guys just to even take a minute right now and think about on my team, and this again could be admin or support workers. I've got no idea how big or small your businesses are. So you may just have a couple, you may have 100, I'm not really sure. But wherever you're at right now on your team, do you know the culture of your team? Do you know that, you know what, they are on board with me? If I introduce something new, they're going to be on board because they know with what we do. Or are we going to get a lot of pushback? Are we going to get a lot of issues come out of that? One of the really great indicators is, how much pushback am I getting on the roster? How much pushback are we getting on when we launch a new program, right? So if we think about the culture in your business, it always starts from you, and it always flows downwards. All right. Think of the champagne mountain. All right. Ever seen one of those where you get the champagne getting poured in the glass at the top and there's a mountain of glasses? That's exactly what we're talking about. It always flows from the top down. If you aren't controlling the culture inside your business, then somebody inside your business randomly is. I think we've all probably experienced the bad egg situation, right? One support worker just is a bit more influential than some of the other ones, and they're a bit more of a pain in the bum, and they don't like that one thing. They don't like that Paul took a week off to go spend time with his family. He should be working 24/7 so that I can get all the stuff I want, and then starts developing a crowd around them. Bad egg situation. We can understand what's happening there, and we can look at our business and go, you know what? Why don't I have a chat with them and see what's going on? Or do they not need to be part of our team because they're not on part of our team? All right. We want to know, where are they in our team pyramid? What's going on there? And how can we squash bad egg syndrome? But not because we want to have people that are in opposition what we do. Maybe there are some people that are in opposition what we do, but they're actually beneficial for our business, right? Maybe they do present opposing ideas which help us always move forward, but not in a way that makes things harder for us to do what we need to do and makes things harder for our team. Guys, when we have all of these things in alignment, then we can really be clear on the culture of our business. We know that people will stay with our business for longer, and they will actually become brand ambassadors for our business as well. All right. They start promoting business for us. Guys, your business is the superhero and your staff are the sidekicks. Okay. When your staff become the superheroes, that means that when they go and leave your business, they will take clients with them. Okay. And it happens all the time. I've seen businesses split in half by this sort of thing. So we actually want them to be there, but we want your clients to go, you know what? I know that this business is the one that's helping me. And I know that because the team are all on board. I can see that happening. I'm checked. The client is checked in with by the business, not just the support worker that's working with them. All these bits and pieces make a massive difference to the longevity of your business and the growth of your business. All right. We have got a software tool here, which is a marketing CRM. We don't have anything for shift notes or anything like that. This is purely like a CRM that we use for instance, where you might set your website on. You might use it for like your email marketing processes or Facebook ads and that sort of thing. We actually have a process set up inside there for doing the, back to that, I love you, dear message. All right. And it's not that we automate that message, it's that we automate the reminder to you to do it. All right. And so we've got a process by we can actually have your level up team pyramid set up inside there, so we actually know how we're looking after our team. You know, we want to send a regular info session out to our team to be able to help them level up. We get the training out set up on a regular basis. All right. And then we have got our level up your team training as well, which is absolutely available to you on that QR code, and you can get a hold of that. All right. So just thinking about those bits and pieces, guys, you've been very quiet today. If you'd love to jump in, whether it be in the comments or in a chat today, how confident are you that your team are on board with you and what you're doing? Or is this something you feel like you could improve on?
Well, for us, this is just the foundation for us to build our team. So we're really small at the moment. So I just want to get the framework in place and the foundations right, so that when we are building the team.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, as you're building, you have the ability to put these things in place from the get-go, which will help you to be able to make sure that those systems as you grow don't stretch. All right. Because when you have got 100 support workers and 20 administration team or whatever it is, not that's a good ratio. I just pulled those numbers out of my head. It's a lot harder to do those things, not impossible.
Yeah.
All right? So great way to get started now. Absolutely. Anyone else at a different stage in business or trying to figure out how to get your team on board with what you're doing there? Awesome.
Well, I used to manage a community access provider before starting at Astalty, and that was one of the difficulties I had, was trying to instill a culture in the business, because it was going towards maybe not a great culture.
Yep.
And like steer people back into the right direction. That was one of the difficulties I had, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that it can be very difficult to, you know, steer something that is running off in the direction that you don't particularly want it to run off into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make sure it's there. Guys, I will just drop this in here. We have got Thrive Summit 24 coming up really clear. Oh, here we go. Sorry, really quickly. Carrie, I don't employ anyone, but I feel the other providers I have. Oh, sorry, I missed a comment there. Where'd that go? Oh, there we go. Here we go. I have separate teams. Yeah, absolutely. So even, you know, working in teams, you can actually start to drive that culture inside those teams as well. All right. Oh, there we go.
I also have something as well. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. Go for it.
We're support coordinators, so we've got a group of 17 of us now. And we have an awesome culture. Like we're the group of us, we obviously we constantly leaning on each other. We've got team leaders within our group as well that have upskilled and managed a few of the girls underneath them. And we have co-working once a month where we all get together, and it's absolutely bonkers, but we just have such a good work-life balance culture within our team. We're pretty much just all turned into best friends now. So it's really, really cool. We've got all different walks of life, all different paths. A lot of our children are on NDIS as well. So we all kind of connect on a personal level too. And we try to keep the engagement and the culture within our company alive, I suppose, by talking through Google Chats, and we're always giving each other positive feedback that we receive from participants, doing little shout outs to them, social media posts to them, and really keeping that engagement positive.
Awesome. I love that. And that really highlights that positive feedback loop that you get. It just starts to, like, like a snowball, right? It just continues to grow and gather its own steam. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really,
And-
really, really positive. Being in such a negative space and dealing with such horrible, well, challenging times, it's really nice just to have the incredible team to fall back on and just get that boost of confidence up again. When some of the girls finish planning meetings, they're almost in tears because they're just so passionate to help the participants. They step over to us to just kind of bring them back up and just go, you've done all you can do. So it's really nice.
Awesome. And that, I imagine that when you're hiring another support coordinator, that really plays into who you will hire and who you won't hire.
It does, actually. We've actually just recruited a couple of support coordinators over in South Australia.
Yep.
Previous company closed down, so they wanted to come over to us and bring their caseload over. So we've just employed them. But they had a few other providers that they were just trying to work out who they wanted to go with. And they said that based on our culture and our work-life balance and our ethics and everything was what drew them to come on to board with Healthy Emporium.
Yeah, absolutely. Great work. Love it.
Thanks.
So guys, we've got our summit coming up. It's a 4-day summit in Bunker Bay in the southwest of WA. We ran this in Noosa earlier in the year, and it was fantastic. We had several speakers there. We took basically 4 days out to help you work on your business, not in your business. And there's something amazing about actually separating yourself from the day-to-day for a little while and taking a 30,000-foot view of your business. We can look down on it and go, right, this is where we're at. And I'm sitting here with providers from different states that do different services, and we're able to all input into the business and see what's working and build something new. The idea of these is not talk fest. I don't believe in just ramming information down people's throats. As you know, I've drawn the screen, I've been asking questions. At this summit, what we actually do is we build the stuff in there. So for instance, we have what we call our 12 profit prime movers. These are 12 processes that we can install in a business that aren't about delivering more profit only. They're actually about developing your team, providing better service to your clients, and they all result in a greater profit margin when you systemize what you do, and you can actually help more people better. Systems for simplicity. So, making sure that the software you're using, Astalty, you're using it to the best possible ability that you have, right? Most people are actually using their software at about 50% max, right? And so they're not getting the most benefit out of it. Creating a lifestyle of leadership, even down to, lead generation. We're actually building these things in the room, in the summit with the speakers, so that you walk away with things already working. So if you'd like more information about that, on that QR code that I'll head to soon, we've got that for you, but you can just reach out to me. As I said, 4 days. We have got a half-day wine tour if you'd like to join us for that as well. That's an optional extra that you can join in. We want to make sure you also have a little bit of downtime. We did learn at the last one to make it available for people to rush out and take those calls that they need to. So we've set that up as well. We actually have a space for people to be able to go and, I've got to have a quick phone call because one of my clients needs me, one of my team need me. We do that. All right. So that is available to you. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. All right. Last thing from me, guys. I wouldn't be a coach if I didn't get you to really think about what were a couple of key points from today that you actually think I could take that away and do something there. All right. Maybe it's, maybe I need to have, the one thing that I really need to work on at the moment is having team meeting, and whatever stage I'm at, I could start to install that. All right. What is the thing that I really need to start doing based off whenever I'm learning something? I could have heard something for the 30th time. I always want to find, what can I take away from this thing? All right. So I'd love to know what you could take away. And then think about who or what will help me. Do I need a system in place? Do I need, what? Paul mentioned that most people aren't using their software to the full. Do I need to get a hold of Ken here, and he can give me a hand to make sure I'm actually using my software properly, so that I'm not double handling information in our business, because that's a profit killer right there. When you are, you're employing someone to do a job that your software will do. All right. So think about who or what will help me, and then what's your next action? And if it is the team meeting, then maybe I just need to I need to do the download. I need to figure out, what platform I'm going to use. And again, all these video platforms, they're free, right? So you can use any of them to be able to do that. What messaging platform I'm going to start using with my team. And then, what am I actually going to say, right? And that outline that we gave you is a really, really straightforward way to be able to just put together some information, a really simple way, and just have a conversation with people. And then what would be the impact of that, right? Well, you know what? If, let's say I've got 10 staff at the moment and I don't feel like they're overly connected, and sometimes we've got a bit of churn, like people are coming and going a little bit. If I can get people really on board and they actually were invested in what we're doing and they were really clear on how we help people and connect, and the culture was great, that would have a big impact. We know that. The research is there, right? So that might have, an 8 out of 10 impact on my business over the next 6-12 months. That could be the difference between growing and being stagnant over the next 12 months. All right. So take some time, and I'd love you to think about that. But for now, we're coming to the end, guys. And I think that is that's our last screen. There we go. We've got everything there. I'd love to know if there's anything you need a bit of help with or anything like that. Let me get off, stop presenting that. There we go. We've got a heap of free content inside of our Facebook group every Wednesday. So this afternoon, for instance, I go live and do some business training around different areas. So for instance, today we're going to go live and actually talk about being a bit more creative with your business, because most businesses go, I'm an NDIS business, and you're not. You're a care business. You just have clients in the NDIS. And so there are often limits people's ability to be able to be creative when they try and work only with the NDIS mindset. You provide care and you provide support and you provide coordination, and these skills are actually transferable across different areas. So we want to make sure you're doing that really well. And we've got a couple of different programs as well. Obviously, we have our coaching program, the Profitable Provider, and we have providers from all across Australia at various levels meeting in their level groups, so that, if you are a business that's doing, $1 to $3 million, you're in a group of people that are doing $1 to $3 million, and you're actually solving the problems at that stage that you're at, rather than, how do I find my first client, or how, someone who's doing $10 million going, how do I hand over to a general manager correctly? Right. So there's different problems at different stages of business. So we separate it by that to make sure you're getting the help that you need. So if any of you guys have any questions, you'll be getting, I believe, Keen, getting an email with some information about what we do.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll pop all that information into the description of this school event. I think Jonathan will post that once the recording has finished processing. So yeah, all of Paul's information will be in that description. So if you'd like to join the Facebook group, I'm sure that information will be in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, that school group is amazing. Well done. Well done, King. Like, just looking at the connection and collaboration side of that group, it's absolutely fantastic. So, just on a side note, the more you guys actually engage in groups just like that Astalty have set up, the faster you move. Having coached businesses for around 7 years, and a lot of that in group scenarios, the people that engage and ask questions move the fastest. And so even just in the Astalty group there, the more that you connect in, you like posts, you actually comment on people's things, and you post your own information, that is actually a metric that someone can see this person is going to continue to grow and move forward. So I encourage you guys to do that. Our Facebook group is purely business development for care providers. It's not a post your job. It's not, I'm looking for support workers. This is what we do inside of there. We do have post approval on, because we get a lot of people asking to promote their businesses all the time. It's not what we do in that group. That's not what it is. This is purely about business training. So guys, thank you so much for having me today, for listening to me rant and my terrible handwriting. And as I said, if you need a hand with anything, please reach out. We've got a lot of content available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate your time today. I think if I had seen this a couple of months ago, I definitely would have implemented that toolbox session in previous role. But I think that would be really beneficial. It was the same the rest of your presentation. It was really awesome. Thank you for your time.
No worries. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me, guys.
Thank
Well
you.
done on the
everybody.
podcast, by the way.
Sorry, what was that?
Well done on the podcast.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
I'm one of the listeners. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much. We love it. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm glad you're getting stuff out of it.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Thank you.
Too easy. Awesome.
Thanks, Russell. Thank you all.
See ya.